All right, Michelle, 5:33 now. A new COVID variant is making its way across the United States, and a lot of the conversation is on a potential fourth vaccine dose.
So Jess Arnold took your questions straight to the top. Dr. Anthony Fauci, and Jess joins us now live in studio. So Jess, does he think that we'll all need to sign up for another shot anytime soon?
Well, he said that they're still waiting for data on who might need a fourth shot and when, but he doesn't think that we will all need to sign up immediately. We also spoke with docs from Johns Hopkins and the Mayo Clinic to get their thoughts on what COVID vaccinations could look like moving forward. As we enter year 3 of the pandemic, the big question has been if we'll need a fourth COVID shot to protect ourselves. We turn to President Biden's chief medical advisor, Dr. Anthony Fauci, infectious disease specialist with the Mayo Clinic, John O'Horo, and executive director of Johns Hopkins International Vaccine Center, Dr. William Moss. Let's start with Dr. Fauci.
If, in fact, there is a determination, it likely will be for a particular subgroup of people. I don't think we're going to see a recommendation for everybody. I'm talking about in the immediate future.
Moderna and Pfizer CEOs have applied for emergency use authorization for a fourth shot, but Dr. Fauci says the FDA is still looking into it. If you're immunocompromised, he says there's no doubt you should get a fourth dose at some point.
Are we anticipating this being a seasonal type of vaccination potentially moving forward like the flu virus?
Most individuals who have been following this agree that we're likely to need a seasonal dose of a COVID vaccine, whether that's a booster of the original or is going to be a new tailored one based on some of the variants we've seen, other variants that emerge, is not certain.
Now there's BA.2, a subvariant of Omicron going around.
And if you were sick, with probably the Omicron variant in December, January, should you still be worried about this new variant?
There is a lot of cross protection. So if you've been infected with BA.1, the chances are you're quite protected against infection with BA.2, or at least infection accompanied by severe disease.
All doctors emphasize that's the main goal, preventing severe disease, hospitalizations, and death.
I think we got a little just, fooled in the beginning because these mRNA vaccines were so good in the short term in the clinical trials that led to their authorization in actually preventing infection, that we kind of, developed the expectation that that should be our goal. Now, it's a different part of our immune system, our cellular immune system, that really protects us against severe disease. And that's what we're seeing really hold up in terms of vaccine effectiveness.
Now, some people have expressed skepticism about this initial recommendation for another shot coming from the companies that produce it. But Dr. Fauci said the NIH is sponsoring the studies and they're being reviewed by the FDA and CDC. So it's independent of anyone that stands to make a profit.
All right. Jess, you talked to Dr. Fauci about a number of topics. Does he believe that we should expect a summer surge of the virus?
Yeah, Tony, he says there's a good chance we will see an uptick in infections since we seem to follow what happens in the UK, but he doesn't anticipate that leading to more hospitalizations, which is the most important metric they're looking at again. Now, there is a lot more to these conversations. I'll make sure to post them on WUSA9.com. Guys.